All right, guys, how's it going? Happy, what do we got, Wednesday here? We're just going to do a little market recap today. Keep it pretty simple. I'm going to try to stay under 10 minutes, but we'll see if I can. All right, so we still have the black bolt and white flare kind of here at the top. When we look at these, you know, we still are projected to still have a little bit of price correction in these boxes. Yeah, they're going to continue to drop, but they're starting to figure themselves out a little bit. So that'll be for both those boxes. I'm not really going too heavy into these. I got a few things that I was able to order through Walmart at MSRP, but I'm not going out and buying these things in particular. Destined Rivals, again, you know, we talked about on this channel early on. You know, this is, again, you know, some people in the comments the last video were saying, you know, who was hating on Destined Rivals when we talked about that. Dude, there were a ton of people hating on Destined Rivals. A lot of people were really upset because the set was announced way in advance. You know, we knew about it for a long time. And when the cards got announced, a ton of people were upset. They were going to say, you know, this is where the market's going to crash. And they were super upset about it. But I think people are waking up, you know, and figuring out that this is a good box. Again, we haven't really gotten a major reprint for it, but that'll come. And then when the price corrects from that reprint, or reprint scare really is what it really is. Because I mean, think about all the reprints that you've been promised. You know, you haven't really gotten any, most likely, unless you're botting or doing something like that. But for a lot of people, they don't never even see these boxes. So if you do manage to get a reprint, or you're buying in the secondary market, that would be a good time, I think, if you're looking to get into the Destined Rivals. I mean, we have a ton of time left on these as well, but this is going to be the best set of the SV era, and I don't mind backing a horse like that. And I'm talking strictly not specialty sets, but yeah. Otherwise, then you got the 151 and then Prismatic, which also are going to be in the next row here. So an interesting thing, you know, they did announce that Prismatic is coming out with a, let me see, one of these, I don't even know what you would call it, just the premium collections, really, kind of like we got with Sea and Sky and 151. Makes me think that they're going to print this a little bit longer. You know, I think they're going to print this for a good amount of time. And it doesn't necessarily mean there's not opportunity to be had right now. And when I say that, I'm talking about, think about how it was with 151, right? When 151 printed, they stopped printing these ETBs when they started going into these Blooming Waters and other sets, right? Like, we stopped getting the ETBs. We stopped getting the Crown Zenith ETBs. So what becomes valuable when they're still printing? It's interesting because look at the booster bundle. Still $66. You can still pick it up for $66. You're basically looking at, let's just keep the math simple here. Let's just call it 60 to be fair, right? Let's just say it's $10 a pack, right? When you go to the booster box, what does this one have? 10? Is it 9? I don't even know. 9 packs in this one. So you're looking at, what is 300 divided by 9. Sorry, I don't have the math ready for you guys, but 300 divided by 9, $33 a pack. $33 a pack. Well, no, it's not necessarily based on the pack. It's based on how exclusive this product is and how you can't get it anymore. Still being in print, right, as 151 is, you don't find these ETBs. You may be able to, you know, sit on a computer all day or get lucky at a Walmart drop or a Target restock and get, you know, a booster bundle, but you're not really picking up these ETBs. You might be able to get some Blooming Waters, but you're not able to pick up these ETBs. These ETBs were sold out a long time ago, basically. Okay, and this might be an era that we're getting into with the Prismatic ETB. And I'm not trying to pump my Prismatic bags. I have only booster bundles. I have some poster collections, but I have zero ETBs. I have the Pokemon Center, or I have 2 Pokemon Center ones, but I don't have any of the ETBs. The way my mind's thinking right now is if I go out and I buy a case of these, eventually it's going to run up pretty high if they continue the same trajectory and Pokemon Center does what they've been doing, right? They're not going to be printing a big ETB assortment. They're going to focus on bundles and the premium poster collection. That's my thought process. So there's always opportunity, even when you hear these scary words like reprint and this is, there's opportunity. That's what I'm trying to say here. So that's where my mind's going right now with 151 and Prismatic. It's just interesting. Evolving Skies, we talked about it, last week? I told you guys this box was going to run up to 200 or 2,500. I told you, but I think a lot of you guys already knew that. It's not like a flex or anything. I've been saying it for a while now. Since we had it at 1,300, I've been telling you guys this box is going to run. I made multiple videos on it, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Following that, when you look at the 151 premium, that just hit 400? Is it clearing 400 now? So yeah, I mean, same as the ETB here for Prismatic. I think, if you could pick up some of these for cheaper, that's definitely something I'd look into. Also the Pokemon Center, keep an eye out for those. Any good deals? When you hear the words reprint, don't freak out. Those are great opportunities for you to pick things up. That's what I've been doing. I've been scooping up a lot of stuff. But I'm kind of more so avoiding the Black Bolt and White Flare stuff. I do have some Pokemon Center stuff, and I got like a few 10s at MSRP. I'm not afraid to pick up stuff at MSRP. Definitely do that if you guys get the chance. But I'm just talking mostly secondary market here, pickups. Oh, we talked about this one. We picked up an extra one of these as well. It's already kind of going up. I don't know. This graph doesn't really particularly show it. It looks like it's flatlined, but I mean, with Destined Rivals jumping in price, the Pokemon Center, they can obviously print this again. They've done it in the past. But just keep an eye out for any good deals here. Look at Marketplace. I saw one for $160. The only reason I'm not doing it is because the guy's probably an hour and a half out and I don't want to drive. I have a gas guzzling vehicle, so it just doesn't make sense for me to do it. He just wants to pick up. But, if you can find them for pretty good deals, I wouldn't hesitate to scoop them up. Bubble Mew is still kind of taking off. It's getting its legs back. This card is going to be a staple, of the era. Anytime these cards get a nickname, I saw somebody on Reddit say this, when they get nicknames, it's a good card, but not totally true. There's definitely outliers for that. But let's see what else we have that's sticking out. I know there's one thing that's going to stick out to me a lot. We got the Mega Evolutions, still sitting at 271. I think this set's going to be really good just from the art that I've seen so far. We'll make another video of the newer art that's been released. I still haven't even seen it, but I'm going to save it for the next video. Let's see what else. I mean, look at this. The Pokemon Center, 700. What's the most recent sell on this thing? 748. That's insane. Anything Celebrations is still going up right now. I think if we talked about the gold Charizard going to take off, and then we talked about the Ultra Premium Collection, it's like 700. Maybe it's sold for like 750 now. That's crazy. But we did talk about those, when they were 500. So, when you think about these, just make sure when you're investing, you think about how it makes sense in the future, right? If you fast forward, if you can imagine yourself in, a new position in 5 years, even, planning ahead for the next year, where this set still has a lot of hype driven behind it, Celebrations, and there's still room for these cards to go up. That's where a lot of people are still picking these things up. I mean, I personally collected when these drops were happening, so I'm already invested in it. I'm not going out and picking these up necessarily, but they're cool cards, especially like the surfing Pikachu and the balloons Pikachu. Any of the Celebration stuff is really cool. I like the Black Star stuff. I think the promo ran. Like I told you guys, if you have this card, you might as well sell it because I think it's not a legit pump. I thought it was kind of, a little weird. But it ran up to like what, $27. Now it's like 14 or 15. But anyways, Paldea, dropped off because a lot of people started screaming reprint, getting scared. And then what? I think the news now is that there is no confirmed reprint. I mean, do your own research, guys. Especially if you're selling these things. Don't just get on and hear something and then freak out and then just sell it. Just think, make sure your sources are correct. There's a lot of people out here, again, being on YouTube myself, I used to do a lot of content. You're encouraged to just have these catchy hype titles and drive FOMO and scare people, basically. That's the best tactic into getting views and clicks. But you're going to see people attach themselves to these things and they're going to say reprint. Oh my God, they're going to blow it up way more than it is. And then maybe you're selling this, maybe you bought it at, I don't know, maybe for some reason you bought it at, somebody bought it at 340, 17 people bought it at 340. But then all of a sudden you're hearing reprint, and you're selling it at 340 again, you breaking even, I don't know. Don't freak out. Do your own research. And I still think Prismatic or Paldea is going to go up. So I think Lost Origin is in a good spot. Oh, it's already going up. With Evolving Skies going up, you're going to see things like Lost Origin going up, Fusion Strike getting a little bit of legs. Those should be going up here soon. Honestly, all of Sword and Shield in general. And then you're going to have your specialty sets like your Crown Zenith. I like the Crown Zenith pickup if you're in there still collecting Crown Zenith. You guys know me. I've been pretty big into Crown Zenith in the long run. I think it's going to be a good set to have your hands on. So don't be afraid to pick that up. Blooming Waters, 132 now. We were telling you guys to pick them up at 100 when you could do it. You got the 151 UPC. We were talking about this one earlier. $400, man. Goodness. 398. I mean, sheesh. 412. I mean, yeah. This thing it's just gonna keep going too. The 151 stuff is a good investment. Oh, here we go. Let's talk about this. Okay. I don't even know where to begin with this card, really. Look, I get it. Some people are going to like this card. Do I think it's a $245 card? No, I do not. But Shinji Ganji did it. I don't care. I don't care if he... Yeah, I don't care if his dog drew this card. You know what I'm saying? It's just, does it... You could pick up the Magikarp, which in my opinion is beautiful. And it's an iconic Pokemon. I don't care what you say. If you're saying Magikarp is an iconic, you don't know. Okay? You didn't watch the cartoons. You didn't watch, them kicking this thing off the boat and then it evolves into Gyarados because he's always making fun of the Magikarp and then it was just the coolest Pokemon at the time. Okay? Seismitoad, I get it. Maybe you're into this stuff, right? Maybe you're into it. And people are saying because there's a 666 and there's numbers in it. It could get, like, the card could get, canceled. And, dude, in my opinion, okay. And you know what? If you guys bail on this one and you don't make any money and it's my fault because you didn't pick it up at $245 and then it's selling for $1,000 here in 2 weeks, that's on me, okay? I'll make better calls in the future and we'll get our money there, okay? But slow down, okay? Slow down, all right? I think this card is being heavily manipulated. I think people are just picking it up because of the name. I haven't seen the card in person, so maybe I need to slow down a little bit, but I don't know, man. I just don't see it. I'm going to totally avoid this card. I wouldn't pick it up for 50. Okay. I'm just letting you know right now. If somebody was like, do you want this card for $50? I'd do it right now and I'd flip it immediately. But even if it was going for 50 at like, you know, market value, right? I'm not interested in this card per se. Okay. I think it's a good $30, $40 card. $245 is, I'm struggling to understand it. Okay. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Okay. But I think there's other spots here where it just makes a lot more sense, you know, like this card to me is 10 times more beautiful, you know, like this card just stands out in so many different ways. Every time I see this card in a case, I know exactly what card I'm looking at. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there. Oh, I mean, okay. I'm still going on about it, I guess. Look at this card in comparison. I mean, this card is like iconic, you know? And again, I know this is a polarizing card for a lot of people. A lot of people don't care for it, or they don't understand the value behind it as well. But this card's beautiful. It's one of my favorite cards. I don't even have it yet, but I don't know. So how are these cards doing in particular? They're still dropping off. They're gonna find their medium, so give it a little bit of time with those. And I think it'll be interesting to see how those cards turn out. I honestly don't have an idea of how they're gonna go, but I'm not investing into them by any means. I do have some XY products. XY is obviously, you guys have probably heard, taking off. I was talking about this in an earlier stream. I said, you know, pick these packs or pick these boxes up if you can. I think we did our stream at when it was 1200. This box as a sealed product, all right, if you buy pack value, it was cheaper than just buying 36 Evolutions packs off of TCG, which made no sense. It was like one of the most obvious pickups in my opinion. I was just like, oh my God, like I'm just going to go pick up a few. So yeah, that's what I did. What else? I think Fusion should be seeing some growth here soon, you know, so if you can get this box, I'm more interested in Lost Origin. I think Lost Origin sounds nice. Crown Zenith sounds nice. And then I do like what's that other set? I'll think about it. Oh, Silver Tempest right here. Has it shot up? I mean, it's been steadily going up, but I think that's a good set as well in the spot that we're in. What else? Honestly, not too much else, not too much movement. Brilliance kind of bouncing back, and Journey Together still kind of holding where it's at, 76. So this is something to think about. You know, we were talking about it earlier. You have, and we'll end on this, but you have the Journey Together being at $76. And then you have Black Bolt and White Flare. I do think Bolt and White Flare are a better set than Journey Together. So that said, you know, you're putting Journey Together at $76 and it's still going up now. So I wouldn't wait too long, you know, too much longer on these because you are getting closer to that 76. But if you're picking up these boxes at 80, if you can somehow get them at 80, I mean, look, somebody just got a recent sell at 80. I think that's a good spot. I don't think you're going to complain, and I don't think you're going to have any trouble with it in the future at that price. Yes, it's over MSRP. Obviously, I'm not saying to not pick up MSRP stuff, guys. MSRP is the easiest call in the history of Pokemon if you're able to get it, right? I'm more so talking about, you know, to the people that have, you know, a job and they're going out and they don't have time to like go to these stores and find it, or they can't sit on their computer at work and do the Pokemon Center drops, which is another thing. I was looking at the Pokemon Center drop today. I was in this Discord and so many people were asking, they were just saying like, how do you know your spot in the queue? Like so many. It was interesting. And the thought that ran across my head is there's so many new people coming into this, like daily, you know, like that's not a question you need to ask twice really. And it just seems like the community is growing. Like so many more people are all in these discords asking questions. The hobby's growing. So I don't think, for the people that are like really throwing out any like fear of the market crashing anytime soon. Yeah, that's crazy. But anyways, that said, my title will probably have something about the market crashing. Cause like we talked about earlier, clickbait. But yeah, anyways, hopefully you guys are cashing in on this and doing well. That was the Market Wednesday recap. All right. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.